for a very early stream from the shop. And as longtime viewers know, wait, let me adjust the camera a little. All right, there. As longtime viewers know, we try to do a live stream from the shop at least once a month. We didn't get to do it last January, so our last live from the shop was last December. And I try to do it when it's a holiday kasi medyo mahirap mag-shoot ng live when you have people coming in, you have customers coming in. Plus, we've gotten a bit cramped in the shop. I we always seem to outgrow the space. We keep moving to a bigger and bigger space, but we just keep outgrowing it, and that's also true for this particular spot that we're in. I think we've been here in we moved out from Giho. We're in Chino Roses now for the past 2 years, pero we keep outgrowing it, so it's hard to stream from the shop when we're actually using the shop. So may papasok the customer, may nakalatag dito. Here, let me just show our primary test bench. So may may there are patients on the bench, kumbaga, and we'll talk about some of these guys in just a bit. You can see in the background the NR200P there. But before all of that, oh, what's up, Mark Lester? Maaga ka rin, ha? Yeah, I wanted to get a fast start to today kasi marami pa akong gagawin. But I had a great yesterday. Saya nung kahapon. Talagang I just took it easy. But as long time viewers know, I'll see you after the ad break.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder. Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsiligi ka na para sa Windows mo. Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sudden depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Yun. So, yes, we try to do live from the shop every time na walang pasok. We didn't do it last month kasi I already had enough live streams. So we did usually we need 4 for the sponsor. So we did one a giveaway. So it was our big giveaway last January 1. So, yun, this is actually the first time this year that I'm doing live from the shop. Mm. That's good. I approve of this plan. That sounds like a good way to spend the holiday Saturday. Sup? Oh, sup, Brennan S. Martinez. And thank you for also being a customer. Both Mark Lester and Brennan are customers of the shop. I'm sorry if I just outed you guys, like if you were hiding from your particular spouse or girlfriend or partner na, oh, hindi naman ako bumili ng computer. Yes, those guys. Those guys have bought from the shop. So usually what we do in live from the shop is we just go around the shop and make kwento. We're gonna talk a little bit about what the current builds we have in the shop. I am surprised there is an audience. There are like 20 plus people watching. I don't know what you guys are doing up, but I hope it is because either you just got off your shift and you're ready to start your weekend, or you woke up super early to game. That's what I did yesterday. So it's been a bit hectic, but yeah. So the last time I got to play Cyberpunk was like mid January, and then so yesterday talaga I was like, I'm not gonna do any work, so I'm not gonna answer any emails. I'm not gonna reply. I'm not going to do any live streams. We did release a video, but that was already pre-planned, and so I woke up early so I could play Cyberpunk, and that is the for me, pound for pound, value for money. That is the best way to start a long holiday. You wake up early when nobody can bother you, and you get some gaming time in. Top Sunny from Facebook. These are the Cooler Master MH670. These are actually a very old model. So it's like maybe 3 years old. we do have two left in the shop, and I know I sound biased because we're trying to sell something, but they are really good. I also use these for gaming, so these are my primary headset, both for media consumption, like watching videos, and for gaming. And when I do need to use a mic, actually, if you've noticed my streams from my place, I do use an Elgato Wave 1 as my primary mic. But if I need to walk around like I do now, I love it that they're wireless. Usually, if I can make something wireless or there's a wireless version of something that I need, I'll get it. So that's my mouse, my headset, things like that. And yeah, the sound quality is very good, and you can get them really kind of cheap now. So that they're not the latest model, but the Cooler Master MH670, both sound quality and audio quality, uh, excellent at a very good price right now. And we still have two at the shop. Parang there's like a this sounds like there's a whole backstory to this. I would ask na lang over the stream, but parang I am kind of curious now. Top Vigilante Gaming, no sale. The sale was last Monday, I think, when yeah, another thing I've been doing is na I game stream CS2, and then palagi yung title, kung magka-MVP ako, there'll be a sale from the shop. And kampante ako kasi I never get MVP naman. I mean, I get it like once in a blue moon, maybe once every 3 months, but what are the odds that you're streaming tapos magka-MVP? Tapos yun nga, nagkataon na nag-MVP nga ako, I think last Sunday, in my stream game last Sunday. It was sobrang kalokohan. It was ridiculous. It was a wasted MVP. Like, we were terror and mananalo na yung counter. They just needed to win one more round. So, hindi naman ako nagtatapon. I was just playing my regular game. And that particular round, like I got like 4 kills and I got MVP and we won, like Terror won that round. And then we lost the next round. So completely useless. And then, that was the game. A completely useless MVP except nagkataon. So, except the consequence of that was na since naka-MVP nga ako, the shop did go on sale. I think the Monday. So the day after I got MVP, we were 5% off on everything. But you know what I like about Hardware Sugar customers? A lot of them like don't naman super look for a discount. Like they understand that they come to us not because we have the best prices, although I think overall our prices are competitive naman, but because customer service, we're really will really walk you through like, oh, we recommend this because you're doing it for video editing, so you don't need like heavy GPU. That's for gaming. So, we tailor it to your use case. And there wasn't really much of a response when the shop went on a flash sale 5% off for one day, although we did announce it on our usual channels. So we will be yeah, let's just go through the shop a little bit, like what's going on. We're gonna need the primary camera. I'll take my walk around camera or a droid cam. So this is my cell phone and I'm using droid cam to hook up to the laptop, and that in turn everything is piped through Restream. So you'll notice we have like 22 LG monitors, I think, here. So these are 49 inches. Definitely gaming, 240 hertz, 1000 R curved, and then 2K gaming. So these are all paid for already by one customer. They're going basically to a big arcade. Um, the the customer is trying to replicate an F1 type of experience. So they got their custom they're ordering custom computers from us, like custom in terms like of the specs. And then they're also gonna they've had fabricated like a oh sorry. I realized that I should make this bigger. There you go. Yeah, so these are like the 20 or so, 22. I forget how many LG monitor 49 inches these are. So they fabricated a enclosure. So parang a gate, like a racing sim kind of setup. Um, so they're sort of they're building up, so they're getting the place ready, they're getting the computers ready, but they've already shipped around four. I think the name of the place is Monzo Arcade or something like that, or Monzo Barcade. It's in Acovia in Pasig. But they're still setting up the space, but they're ramping up their marketing already and things like that. Actually, this has been in development since last year, and these monitors have been with us for a while. I would never get something that was already paid for by a Hardware Sugar customer, but I must admit to being a little tempted to try them out, to test them. Yeah, you need to need to test stuff before you give them to the customers. AP201, lovely case. We've had the review on it since last year. Claim to fame is obviously the basically wraparound mesh. So it's mesh here, and mesh here. So a lot of airflow going on in this case. It is an M80X case. What I like about it though is that it's more compact, or it's shorter at least than the usual ATX case. So, you can fit it into more spaces. It looks damn good. It also comes in white, so it's black and white. I love the front panel, very subtle na power button. Then, it lights up. There's an outline here. It lights up, USB-C, all the good things. So AP201, very solid case. And you know what I like about this aesthetic, the whole mesh thing? So, you think TG side panel is the best way to look at your RGB and your rig, but I really like it when the RGB is cut up. So when you turn on the case and there's RGB, when you turn on the computer and there's RGB inside, and then the light is filtered through the mesh. I think for me that's a more pleasing aesthetic kaysa sa yung super bright in your face na RGB. Granted, you don't really see the components, but a lot of the time, maybe you don't want to see talaga your components. Unless you have a digital readout, like the AK620 digital over there, which is currently actually my current CPU cooler. Oh yeah, we'd be interested. Although, to be honest, I don't know a lot about controllers. I'd have to ask the guys in the shop, like, things to look out for, and stuff like that. I buy from Hardware Sugar because of your new BS warranty. Yes, that actually, yes, is also a big part of why customers choose us over. I mean, that ang dami namang ibang shops eh. I mean, there are like a ton of shops out there. And that's good for the customer. There are a whole lot of options, and we try to distinguish ourselves with, yeah, the no BS warranty. Sup, Anton? Top dances with waifus. To to be fair, we very rarely have a sale. And yeah, 5% isn't a lot compared to like the sale of some other shops. I don't know how some of the other shops do it. They're constantly on sale. Does their price and some of the sale prices, like to be honest, some of the sale prices of the shops mas mababa pa kaysa sa distributor. So I mean, I do see the distributor prices. So I don't know how they're making money because they need to buy from the distributor and then they need to sell them. But if they're selling them below the price of the distributor, lugi pa sila. And for me, especially as the owner of a small shop, um, I'd rather just, break even kaysa sa mabenta pa as a loss. I mean, of course, you have to weigh it. Sobrang luma na ba nung part? Di na talaga mababenta yan. You're trying to recoup na lang some money versus at least all of the money that you poured into the part. And that's really a big headache with the shop on how to as a small shop, how to juggle all of our finances to make sure that we do have stock of things, and at the same time, everybody gets paid and things like that. It's a big headache. After this live stream, Anton, I am scheduled to vacuum my car. So I have a 3-year-old whom I bring to school mostly, every day of the school week, and she likes snacking in the car. And there ang daming crumbs, ang daming all the biscuits that she eats and stuff. There's like a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, it's been a real wait, I'm trying to okay. I'm trying to yeah, flip it. So I mean, I like keeping a neat car, and it kind of drives me up the wall that my daughter is just so flippantly tossing crumbs on the ano. So I got myself like those portable vacuums, the one that you plug it, so yung medyo malakas naman. And then every once a week or so, I try to vacuum the car, and that is on my to-do list for this Saturday. But I do need to edit a video that we're gonna release hopefully tomorrow. 5 things you don't need to know before trading cryptocurrencies. So I gotta edit that, but I do want to get in some gaming time as well. Ah, speaking of cryptocurrencies, Maverick Hornet in the chat. Yes. I have Maverick Hornet is a regular on our Crypto Watch, which we'll be doing sometime this week, siguro, maybe Tuesday. Um, for those not following, yes, the crypto market is doing quite well. But after like 10 days of chop, the price kind of goes up, then it goes down, it doesn't really go anywhere. But like maybe for the past 3 days or so, sobrang lakas ng crypto. Basically from slightly below 42,000 for a Bitcoin, 42,000 US. Now it's at around 47. Yeah, so we'll focus on what's in the shop for this stream, but definitely monitoring that space. And yeah, exciting times for crypto. Although, I I just heard I'm gonna lose my. Oh yeah, low bat na to. Okay, I gotta do the mobile. I gotta move around before my phone dies. Di ko na charge before I started the stream. So let me just while we still have it. All right. While I can still go around, here we have a Corsair 4000D, mm, NHD 15 Chromax Black. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, the NHD 15 up to now still looks super solid. Oh, and here's a NVMe P5 Plus with a heatsink. We don't usually. This must have been a custom. We don't usually see this in the shop, like with a heatsink. Usually we just use the ones with the MOBO. So the AP201, this is definitely in for diagnostics because we were running a mem test on it. So if anybody from the shop is watching this past mem test, I turned it off already. This one, Corsair 4000D, obviously ATX case, um, three fans in the front, three fans also on top. Oh wow, so super maximized. I don't know what this guy is doing in the shop actually, whether it's for diagnostics or something. Sorry, my mistake. This is not a Corsair 4000D. Apparently, it's an NZXT. Huh. Um, H5, H7. No, maybe baka H5. I apologize to NZXT. NZXT was super big, maybe like 3, 4 years ago. Now they've kind of tapered off. But and you could have fooled me. Yeah, I really we do sell kasi more Corsair 4000Ds. So, yeah, sa unang tingin, kala ko Corsair 4000D, but it's actually an NZXT H5 maybe. Oh, and of course our very lovely cable management. Props to the guys in the shop. I could never make it that clean. So, all right, this is nice. M80X, ATX, the last major size or last mainstream size is of course ITX NR200P. I also do not know what the NR200P is doing here. Is this a new build? I don't think so. One of the most popular ITX cases. Um, Not the most compact of ITX cases, but it does make things a lot easier for us. I think this is the Max, the one that comes with the power supply unit. I know the Max also comes with its own cooling. Parang yes, yes. I think it is the Max because it has the AIO also. So I think this is NR200P Max. So with the NR200P, actually, both the Max and the non-Max version, you have a choice. They come with two side panels, the TG, the clear glass side panel, and the vented or the mesh type of side panel. So, and especially if you have your with the with the GPU like this, it's really better to have it like the vented one. And that's my issue really with horizontally, sorry, vertically mounted GPUs. I worry, especially in smaller cases like this, um, where what airflow, where can it get its airflow? It's really impeded. It is where a TG side panel. Deep Cool, Macube. I think this is a Macube. Or CH510. They've been experimenting with a lot of things in the shop actually. As usual, love the magnetic thing, so easy to remove. This though is not magnetic. This must be a new build. Sorry, customer. You can do the peel. Don't tell the customer I accidentally uh started the peel already. Although and that's yun nga, parang that was uso also like 3 years ago. Like you would see all the reviewers like the peel and but now parang it's gone out of favor. Looks like a solid build AK620. Uh oh wow, I think this is a 4070. Apparently there's an MSI in there. Gaming Slim. I don't quite know the specs on this guy. Oop. You gotta put the filter back. I think this is a new build. These three are probably diagnostics, but this one is probably a new build. Um, we do have, I think we're just waiting for parts for this. So we have the NR200P Max and the 4070 Duo. Oh no, it's yeah. Maybe this is a new build too. Hindi pa lang na ano nung customer. Oh yeah, yeah, it is because here's the Asus 4070. All right, so this is a new build too, new build, and I think those two are for diagnostic. Yeah, so there's a 4070 in there. We do have a 4070 Super, although I think this one was also a custom order. Oh no, it's a new build too. It's an H7. To be honest, I've been really this is also a new build. So this is a 4070 Super. We got the NHD15 Chromax Max NHD15 Chromax Black. And so this is an H7 Flow. To be honest, don't tell the guys in the shop. I haven't been as nakatutok sa shop this year kasi I am trying to give them autonomy because I figure if we're gonna be expanding Hardware Sugar, like maybe to different branches, it's not physically possible for me anymore to to be the one to do the inventory and then also have to check on the RMA and things like that. So I'm trying to maintain the quality, but I'm sort of like at if it like in management structure level, like I'm a bit more on top, and then I'm giving a lot of autonomy to the guys at the who are actually on hand at the shop, on the ground at the shop. Which is not to say, like, even before, I gave people a lot of autonomy, like a lot more autonomy than a regular boss, I think, would give. And so I've accelerated that process even further this year. A, because there's so many things going on with my family, just in terms of regular stuff. Like the kids are growing up, so they're starting to go to school. I started teaching again at my alma mater. So on the personal side also, like this year, I really, a lot of signs are pointing to it being a super big year for crypto. So I don't want to miss out on that earning opportunity. So since last November, I have been updating myself on modern trading. So I've been in crypto for a very long time. I've had skin in the game for a very long time. Bitcoin was single digits. You could still CPU mine when I got interested in cryptocurrencies. But it's only since last. So I've been, trading, but not really like super hardcore about it. But last November, I flipped the switch. I'm like, let's be hardcore about this kasi parang magandang opportunity for 2024, early 2025. So a lot of my time has been devoted to that as well. So transitioning between, and I think it's appropriate na life of the shop. I kind of talk about like how we're running the shop. Last December into January, parang I've been trying to devolve more of my functions to other people so that we can still maintain the quality, but I'm free to concentrate a bit on other things. Hopefully the shop breaks even soon because I'm really tired of losing money. So tiring. So so nakaka so I'm very upfront that Hardware Sugar doesn't make any money. I'm constantly borrowing from people to get the shop running, to keep the shop operating. Pero to be fair, we keep upgrading the shop. So all of the profits of the shop get plowed back into the shop. We've expanded the number of people we have, the space that we're in, the inventory that we carry. But it's just it would be nice if the shop could do all of those things and maintain man lang at least a green cash flow. So I've been very upfront na yeah, it's very difficult to run a shop. Maybe I'm just a sucky businessman. I mean that might be the case. That is a possibility. Um, I have noticed that towards maybe the second half of the year, sales are better. But the first half, people just bought nung Christmas and things like that. That's when I notice historically speaking, I have to lend out or find temporary sources of income to supplement the shop. And it's not uncommon for businesses to, binabawi nila. So part of the year they're in the red, and then the parts of the year that they're in the green, they make up for it. Like one example that comes to mind is Toys R Us before. Toys R Us in the States, a super big retailer of toys. And they would only be in the green starting like November, December. But what they made in November, December was enough to um, cover their entire costs for the year. Because, so November, December, big buying opportunities for kids. So, I'm not like super concerned, but like, I am tired, like year after years of running the shop, that I have very little monetarily to show for it. So hopefully this year will be the year that we turn that around. Yep. There is like the new Nvidia GPUs, they're shouldn't have been on sale yet. Like embargo sila from our primary distributors. But yeah, people, like we had some customers. To be fair, like they were super loyal. They were messaging us now. Oh, you want the 4080 Super or something like that, and we're like, it's really not for sale yet. And they're like, what, the other shops have it? And like, yeah, that's gray market. Nothing wrong with the gray market, especially if you get it at a good price. And if you get it from an established retailer naman, they'll still honor the warranty. But yeah, those are not um, from the official distributors. Kahit yung 5700X3D, naka-embargo pa rin yun. Even though that one we could buy already from our local distributors. Yeah, it's a very competitive market, PC shops. One, you really need a lot of capital because these parts are effing expensive. A 4070, I don't know what CPU is in here. An N7 Flow NZXT, will set you back quite a number of thousands of pesos. And if the customer thinks it's expensive, yes, I mean, if a customer feels like, oh, sobrang mahal ng 4080, isipin mo na lang like a shop that has to carry like three of those and something like that. So that's why our inventory is always kind of just spot on. Like we only try to carry as much um as we can compared to, I mean, we don't stock a lot. We try to be more nimble with our inventory because our capital can't support it. We need to be adaptable. I lost mag-stream ka rin ng HFW on PC? Na I really want to. Sorry, Vigilante Gaming knows that I'm a big fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, so that I don't usually play console, but that came out on that was on PS4. I stole my brother's PS4 to play it. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. Forbidden West, the sequel, came out already on PS5, but the port is coming soon to PC. But I don't have the time. I will probably pick it up maybe December when it's on discount because I gotta, like, for the AAA games. I want to do the Jedi Knight sequel, which came out last year. Armored Core. I also want to do that one. But I'm still finishing Cyberpunk, which is like I got Phantom Liberty. I was gonna get Phantom. I was gonna wait for Phantom Liberty like on discount, but one of the YouTube members sent it to me. So again, super thank you. And I am really enjoying it when I do get down to play. I'm only maybe in the middle of Phantom Liberty. I still have a ways to go. Plus, I'm doing the quests that I didn't do last time around. I thought medyo comprehensive na yung playthrough ko when I did the Cyberpunk years ago. But apparently, daming mga quests na, outside of the Phantom Liberty, Phantom Liberty expansion. That's true. And Gamers Nexus in particular was very vocal about that. But the H1, that was a really promising ITX case sana. Robert from YouTube, can a single 1600 watt Platinum PSU run two 4090s with an R9 or i9 CPU? When I first saw the question, like 1600 watts, no problem. I was like, oh, two 4090s plus the top tier CPU. Ah, it's a very niche question. I would be a little concerned, but just because I assume if you're gonna run that hardware, you're gonna run it full bore, like you're gonna like balls to the wall, todo natin 100%, 110%. In those kind of situations, you do want a little headroom, or a little allowance in the power supply. It is a platinum, it is 1,600 watts, pero I would be a little concerned. Um, I'd prefer like maybe a 2,000 watt PSU for that if you could find it. So not saying that it wouldn't run, but like for my peace of mind, if I were doing that hardware, plus I'm assuming that you're gonna run it full bore, um, 2,000 watts might be a more comfortable, uh, more comfortable watt capacity. Sup, Lucky Bear Vlogs and Kung Hei Fachoy to our Phil Chai listeners. Yeah, happy Chinese New Year. My wife is actually Phil Chai, so I am 100% not Chinese, and she is 100% Chinese. Ha. So I over the years I have it's interesting for me to learn like other cultures and traditions, and yeah, it's been interesting. And also like occasional Chinese words. Affordable, a good but affordable AIO. Choose Deepcool. They have the L the LT series is kind of like their higher end, but the LS series also pretty good. Personally for me, I'm not using one of their AIOs right at the moment, but I'm using one of their coolers for my Ryzen 9 5900X, the AK620 digital, and it is smooth sailing. Uh, 2 points about Deepcool. Number one, we've carried them for a long time over multiple models. They're a very reliable manufacturer, very reliable brand. Um, sige, let me just, I think we're done with the kind of moving around. Let me just turn off this one because I want to preserve some battery for the trip home. So I can turn that off and turn you off. Okay, let me check. Okay, while I'm doing like these housekeeping things, let me play the ad again. Apologies, but I will get back to you guys after we make some money. The YouTube channel has actually been very positive. It's been really helpful for the shop.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder.
Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nag-CDK ka na para sa Windows mo.
Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out
cdkeyoffer.com.
Yeah, so to answer the question, which good budget AIO to get, I really recommend Deepcool. There are cheaper brands in the market, for example, Eat Cooling, pero in terms of value for money and reliability, it's really I have nothing to say but good things about Deepcool. We've carried them for years. I think we started carrying a lot more of them when we were in Giho, and then carrying over to where we are now in Chino Roses. Very reliable brand for cases, even for power supplies for some of their models, and for cooling. Yun nga, and I put my money where my mouth is. Currently, my cooler is from Deep Cool, although it is an air cooler. And all of that being said, like I built up Deep Cool. I don't know, like some people in chat already know this, but um I will be the first week of March. I will be gone to China. I'll be in China because Deepcool invited me to tour their factory. So March 4 to 8, I will be in China, courtesy of Deepcool. But that trip has no bearing on my advice that they are really a good brand because I've been saying it for years. Okay, I mean you can go back to our reviews, you can go back to previous live streams. Deepcool for me is a very good brand and affordable. Plus, very accessible. We have some brands na you see something, oh, it's a really cool case, pero hindi pala available sa atin, available lang sa States or something like that. Not the case with Deep Cool. Basically, anything Deep Cool comes up with, we can get here in the Philippines. So affordability, reliability, and accessibility, all of those things. Hats off to Deep Cool. Michael from YouTube, this is a Cooler Master MH670. I plugged it also at the start of the stream because I really like it also. We still have two available in the shop, so we do have on hand. Audio quality is very good. This is my primary headset, both for consuming media like watching YouTube or watching movies or episodes, as well as I don't really use the mic a lot, only when I need to move around in a space. Because usually when I stream from the house, I use an Elgato Wave 1, so the first version of the Wave. I think they're up to Wave 3 now or something. But yeah, overall the quality is very good. Plus sobrang mura na lang niya. This is not a new model. Like this is maybe 2 or 3 years. The model is around 2 to 3 years old. So you can get it at a very reasonable price for the quality. I really like it. And one other thing that a lot of people that I feel doesn't get a lot of mention, but I find super useful is this thing. So I'm using my laptop to stream. This is the dongle, so that I this is the dongle that connects the MH670 to the computer. You notice the green light. The when it is connected properly, there's a green light, and when it's not, there's a red light. Sounds super useful. Sounds like it sounds like a super simple thing, but it's super useful. Like when I just want to make sure na tama yung pagka-connect nung headset, I don't need to do anything else. I just glance. So like on my desktop, I'm seated. I just glance to my tower, and I can see the green light, and like everything is a okay. Super useful, super simple, and it just works. And one last thing I like about the MH670, again, not a plug. You can get it from anywhere. You can get it from Amazon. I just really, quality hardware. Um, it's that when you cut off for whatever reason, like you're wireless, you're moving around, and you move away from the range of the Bluetooth, it will automatically revert back to speakers automatically. So some of the headsets I've tried, you need to manually go pa to Windows and set it back to speakers. So but this on the fly kind of thing, like for whatever reason, parang you're gaming, biglang namatay kasi low bat na pala, it'll automatically shift to speakers right away. And that automatic shifting, that is not common. And that's one thing I really like about this na it's kind of adaptable. It's smart. When for whatever reason the headsets are out, it automatically shifts back to your speakers. And again, like super simple but super useful. So MH670. Sub Gamer Zone. Oh my god, I'm not a Apple fan. I really dislike their whole like, oh look at me, I'm Apple. I'm better than everybody else and I charge like I'm gonna I think of a more colorful way to say it, but it's the morning, so let's kind of keep the language like chill. They Apple really charges a lot. You're paying an Apple premium for all of their products. So I'm not a big Apple fan, but all of that aside, I would love to get my hands on the Vision Pro. It is, it looks like it's very interesting. I think that's the way forward for mainstream AR instead of VR. So you can really you can still see your environment. You're not completely cocooned or enclosed in a virtual setting. The Oculus ones, so sorry, the FB ones, so that originating with the Oculus, and then Facebook bought them, eventually rebranded it to the Quest line. Um, I think I think the Vision Pro has a good chance of becoming the first mainstream VR headset. And don't get me wrong, like I don't look down on VR headsets. Like I am a kid of the 80s, right? So when you say VR, it's like, oh, cyberpunk, futuristic. I bought an HTC Vive. One of the first like modern gaming headsets. I had the sensors up, and then I was running around my room, bumping into walls and like slashing the swords and things like that virtually. So I'm a big fan of VR, but I think for the mainstream, this kind of AR approach. Plus, it's not just AR, but Apple really figured out a way to make things intuitive. So the way you touch icons, you can see the icons, and then you just kind of like go like this with your hand, so it tracks where your hand is without having to set up base sensors around the room or without having to use a to hold a controller. So a lot of engineering went into figuring out how to make this more intuitive. I've seen more mainstream reviews complaining like, you still look kind of dorky. It looks like you have a ski mask on and things like that. But even the way it's put on and the way it snugly fits on you is a lot better than the whole straps and things. So conclusion, I generally do not like Apple, but I think they really sprinkled their consumer magic on the Vision Pro. Yes, it's expensive, but I think you do what you get what you pay for. It's like when you first paid $500, $600 for an iPad. I remember when the iPads were still new and they were a thing, and it seemed very futuristic. That yeah, we had touchscreen phones, but the tablet and the larger format, just for media consumption, and if you're using it to take notes or things like that, the larger scale really opened up new possibilities. And yeah, we've had VR, AR headsets before, but the Vision Pro seems like it's a good bet to make the technology mainstream. And I I have saved the YouTube video. I haven't started it yet. Na parang it's a parang behind the scenes on how Apple leadership is super behind the Vision Pro. Like I think they are identifying it as the next kind of new market that they want to push. Kasi their old markets are kind of saturated. Like they made a bundle on the wearables, like their AirPods. AirPods are super cheap to make. Apple, crazy markup. Like, ang ganda nung profit margin nila dun. But the iPhone, the market's kind of saturated. So they are looking for new markets, and I think they're gonna make a big push with the Vision Pro, which is good for the consumer. Eventually, prices will go down. But yeah, I not an Apple fan, but I would love to try out the Vision Pro. Not so much. I mean, any like if you're yes, okay, we do have a video on, we have a short actually. So I have a 3080, that's my primary GPU, and then a brand length as a 4060, Asus length as a 4060. So a 4060 is slower than a 3080, but when I popped it into my machine, so everything completely the same except for the GPU in DaVinci Resolve free version, the 4060 even was was slightly faster in rendering the exact same video. So I think that was a fluke. Like, you do a sufficient amount of tests. Overall, mas mabilis pa naman yung 3080. But I think it emphasizes that the GPU is not the primary component you need to worry about for video editing. Um, so, like, if your GPU now is slower than a 4060, you pop in a 4060 for video editing. Yes, things will be slightly faster, but I don't think to an appreciable or very noticeable extent for video editing. CPU is still king. Like for video editing, yeah, you get a GPU, you get some kind of acceleration, but CPU is still a lot more important to your video editing experience. Especially for me, na I don't care so much about the rendering time. Like I'm gonna leave the video rendering. It'll be done in 10, 20 minutes, depending 5 minutes, depending on the length of the video. And that's my time. I'm standing up. I'm getting a snack. I don't worry too much about the long renders. For me, what's super important for a video editing computer is that the playback is good, because that's what you're doing as a video editor. You're scrubbing through the raw footage. You're cutting. You're putting text. You're putting clips and things like that. It's a real pain in the ass when the playback is slow. And just very recently, so my primary computer, my computer at home was a Ryzen 7 3700X with a 3080. That's what I was using for editing. Very decent. The 3700X even now is still a very decent CPU. But yun nga, with larger files, with more layers dun sa timelines ko, it was kind of slow. It was starting to get annoying. So over the last Christmas, I upgraded to a Ryzen 9 5900X. Playback is so much smoother. But again, you wouldn't recommend that for gaming. For gaming, you wouldn't get that CPU. But I was kind of fed up that it's kind of like slow editing process. So everything is so much smoother now in terms of editing with the Ryzen 9 5900X. So yeah, again, the GPU hasn't changed, but the sobrang ang laki ng difference. It's night and day for me, the improvement for my editing workflow. So for a video editing, primarily a computer that will be used for video editing, I always say go long, like spend a bit more on the CPU, and you can kind of not worry too much about the GPU. Although I do get in trouble for that advice. As I do with a lot of my advice, a lot of the things I say aren't mainstream. Like don't worry too much about bottleneck. Yes, 3600 megahertz DDR4 for a Ryzen AM4 build is completely fine. I mean, there's a lot of PC advice. Don't worry too much about, future proofing. I think, future proofing sounds good for marketing, but as a strategy, how to build a computer, it's not very useful. There's a lot of mainstream advice that I don't agree with, and I often say so on the channel. And people often disagree with me, and that's completely fine. I mean, that's what's lovely about the internet. You have people sometimes discussing things in a rational manner. Sometimes it does get a little heated. But one thing did get called on in my recent video about 24 build tips for 2024. They're like, oh, you said about video editing, but no, I think you still need a big GPU, or an expensive GPU, because I did say that advice that I would prefer to buy a better CPU than a better GPU for video editing. I don't agree. And I can say so from experience because I did that 3080 4060 experiment. I myself use my desktop a lot for video editing. Um, and yeah, the R9 5900X made a very big difference. That's it, waifus. I recently discovered the Fractal Torrent. Oh, love that case. It's a massive case, but that's a great looking case. Nah, because to be fair, a lot of the mesh cases now and the ones with filter and stuff, they do become like an air purifier because our air is so dirty in Metro Manila. We don't complain about it enough to the relevant authorities and things like that. But our air, and I hate smoke belchers, like whether it's the bus or jeepneys, or yung the ones who don't get yung mass transport, they get called, you think smoke belcher, automatically inisip mo jeepney. But in my, anecdotally, feeling ko yung mas grabe pa ng smoke belcher, yung mga armored cars. Because the engines are working so hard because the vehicle itself is so heavy. You notice you're behind an armored car, like 30% of the time, 35%, they are grabe mag-smoke belch yung mga armored cars. At least mass transportation, they are efficient. Like they are transferring X number of people from one point to another point. But yung armored car, um, from a logistics standpoint, yes, it's important to move cash, but um, they get less of a free pass from me for smoke belching. They're private companies, so are naman the transport companies. But I would imagine the armored cars would have a budget to make sure that their vehicles don't smoke belch as compared to the jeepney driver, even just like an operator, and then he's working for someone who actually owns the jeepney. I imagine the margins there are pretty tight. Um, so I hate smoking belching in general. Parang feeling ko ang bastos eh. It affects everybody, and uh, the air quality of air leads to a lot of health issues, and the quality of air in Metro Manila is terrible. And one way for PC guys to see that is, yeah, it's yung mesh dito sa side, it becomes an air purifier. Or even when you're cleaning out your radiator, because the fins are so tightly packed to increase the surface area to get better cooling. But when you're cleaning your air, the radiator of an AIO, or even just the tower of a air cooler, grabe yung dust buildup dun. It's crazy. And like I worry sometimes, like when I'm cleaning, like you're dislodging all of that dust and you're breathing it in. So ako, even before the whole pandemic thing, like when I would clean, I would wear a mask because I don't want to be breathing all of those particulates. The PM20s, yung microparticles, particulate matter, like below nanometers. That is death, man. That is super bad for your health. So try to clean in a well ventilated space. Wear a mask. It's better if your computer is in an aircon room. Mine is not. I never use aircon in my home office. So yeah, and plus my case is a Thermaltake Core P3, yung open test bench type. I didn't even put the tempered glass panel, so it's like completely open. So yeah, my stuff does get dusty quite a lot, and it just really brings home the point na sobrang dumi nung hangin natin dito sa Metro Manila. Yes, well, the top of line brand is usually APC. We do sell ProLink in the shop, which is a more budget alternative. Maganda pa rin yung performance, but not gonna lie, we've had occasional RMA customers coming back. They bought a UPS na ProLink. they sent it back. Not concerning, like not in numbers that we would be concerned about. So we still carry it in the shop. But ProLink is that kind of like step down, like yung parang mid-level brand na maganda yung performance, reliable. Occasionally, you do have to send them back. Pero yung maganda sa supplier namin, very easy to get RMA. So none of our customers have had issues with that. But usually APS, APC ba? We used to carry them before, but then they changed distributor here, and I kind of can't. We don't get a lot of them anymore, in the shop. But ProLink would be good, and then usually like the general advice, we do have a video on it, like how to choose a UPS, like how much VA capacity. When you talk about PSUs, you talk about wattage. When you talk about UPS, uninterrupted power supply, you talk about VA. But it's not a 1 is to 1. Like you think, oh, 1,300 VA, sapat na yun for, sorry, like a 1,000 VA UPS, sapat na yun sa 1,000 watt PSU. That's actually not the case. Number one, VA, roughly it's like 60%. So a 1,000 VA would be good for like a 600 watt system, very roughly. And number two, actually, hindi linear yung pagka-discharge nung battery. Without the technical jargon, that means that it's very hard to come up with a rough estimate on how long it can run a system because on at one time it might be able to handle a 500 watt system for 3 minutes. At another time it could handle a 700 watt system for 2 minutes. Yun nga, since hindi linear yung discharge from the UPS battery, um, it's very hard to come up with an estimate of how long it will take of how long you can run something. Kasi even if you have the exact same hardware, you do the test multiple times, paiba-iba yung time. Yun nga, hindi linear yung discharge from the battery. And we did that. One thing I'm very proud of here at the channel, we actually do the things that we say we do. So we tested the VA thing. I tested it personally. We had a bunch of different UPS, all from ProLink. And then we tested them, and you can really see nga na non-linear. Yung iba, mas matagal, yung iba mas mahaba, mas matagal, mas maiksi yung time that they are able to ano. And that's like even for top models na like say 2000 VA or something. So what you want is a decent headroom. So even if it's on the shorter, if nagkataon you get a brownout and for whatever reason, you're on the shorter end of the expected time that you can run a computer, all you need naman the UPS kasi for is like 40 seconds to save everything and shut down properly. So the sweet spot I recall is around 1,300 VA. But again, it depends like how many monitors you're running, what system you're running, things like that. But yeah, it's a really educational video. I was very proud of that video. I thought it was very useful and relevant even up to now. I agree, Paul. I also live in a space where you can often see ice cream. You can often hear ice cream being sold outside na may nagtitinda nung ice cream, nung mga prutas, kung anong nangyayari sa labas, and dog barks and things like that. Although, like, yes, it depends also on the microphone, but it also depends on the program that you're running. Like if you're running in OBS, you can set up filters naman and things to blot that out. And Asus also has pretty good AI technology that filters out a lot of the stuff automatically. We've tried that also in the shop. That's pretty good. Let me up the sup Alreen. Dual monitor and ultra wide. Nahati puso ko kung ano bibilin ko. If you're more of a gamer, I would choose the ultra wide. Immersive experience, bigger. But if you use the computer primarily for, let me just sit down on the Galax thing. Also, we got this for, whoop, got this for review. A long, kita ba? I'll just orient the camera down. Yeah, sorry, not standing all the time. Oh, too much down naman. What a chill streak. All right. Like I'm like this framing is not ideal. Like I would want the camera a bit higher, but I'm the only one here, and I'm lazy, so heck with it. If you're a gamer, ultra wide for me, the immersion is better. You wouldn't want to play the game like over two screens. Like yeah, it's technically possible, but you just don't want to do that. So, primarily for gaming, I would get the ultra wide. if primarily for work, oh, dual screen. Dual screen is good. Um, multiple monitors makes everything so much easier. Um, so yeah, if for productivity, get dual screen. If for gaming, get an ultra wide. If you're not sure, like you do both on the same computer, I would get an ultra wide because you can still kind of chop up the screen, and get the kind of multiple monitor effect, on the ultra wide. It won't be iba pa rin like if you have like a dual screen and you can like, oh, itong hati na to talagang pang chat lang yan or pang stock quotes or something like that. Um, so like for pure productivity, I would still choose a dual monitor setup over an ultra wide. Also because you're spreading out your points of failure. If the ultra wide fails, you're out of a monitor. If one of the monitors fails, at least you can still use the setup because you still have one left, while you get a replacement. But if it's a mixed use kind of thing, I'd go with the ultra wide because it is more versatile. You know your gaming sessions will be great, and you can still kind of get the productivity boost that you would get from a dual monitor setup because you can kind of chop up the screen for an ultra wide with an ultra wide. All right, next chat. Oh, but that's the thing, right? You gotta keep moving. All right, so I do gotta get back to my work. Editing a video, it should come out tomorrow, which the YouTube members will see tonight. B3, worth it? 5700X, 5700X 3D. Tough call. Better sana like if you're buying a new rig and it's for gaming. Like I would say, spend the extra to get the 5700X 3D. If for gaming, oh shoot. And apparently my laptop is also about to run out of battery. All right, so I gotta wrap this up. Short answers na lang. Personally, I would not get it 5700X 3D if you already have a 5700X. Get na lang a faster GPU if that's your concern for gaming. Sup, Arvik? Okay, gotta be super fast because my laptop also wants to die na rin. So customer has a 5700X, 4070. Possible po ba na bottleneck kasi um your PC should run that. If there is a bottleneck, there might be a bottleneck, but your PC should be able to run that without any frame drops. So I would look elsewhere. Maybe a driver. I don't know. Frame drops are annoying. Maybe look at the settings. But I would not. Even if there is a bottleneck, I don't think that's the issue why you're getting frame drops. That's a pretty old game. Um, and it's a game that doesn't use a lot of hardware. You don't need a lot of hardware to push good graphics on that one. Try running it on I don't know what resolution you're playing at. Try running it at 1440p. The 4070 does better. It's more optimized for 2K gaming. And I mean 2K the resolution, not 2K the game. Uh we have very good experience with the MP33. That said, mas matunog yung XPG. Like a lot of like a lot of like enthusiasts would say go for the XPG just because they've heard more about it and they know it's like performance. Personally for me, like I use an MP33, not a Pro, but just the regular MP33 in my primary rig, and it's great, good performance, quality, good price. So like personally for me, I would choose the MP33 just because I'm very comfortable with Team Group as a brand. But the more mainstream advice would be to take the XPG, the A-Data. Mas sikat siya on the market. So basically, my answer is a question which boils down to who do you trust more, me or the mainstream? Not really particularly good advice, but yeah, I'm just saying like if it were me, I would get the Team Group just because Team Group has um, built-in allowance now with me. I mean, they have good built up goodwill with me already. Um, we're working on it. We're working on it. I think like the kids like sila Rocky the Programmer want to do something like that again. Not at the moment. Janelle Ramos. Good morning, Tracy. Neil Tracy from YouTube. AM4, AM5 new build. Depends on the budget. If like budget is not a problem, I would go now with AM5. Like I'm thinking like maybe 100 to 150K budget. So medyo higher end computers. But if it's like